The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the 18th episode of the SCU Show. I'm your host, SCU, and boy, is it great to be back here on the show. I've been away for the past couple of weeks because of different things. Back in August, I was doing This Week in the AFL, and then I went to Jersey. I tried to do a show, but my producer, Eric Watkins' computer shut down on me, so that show ended almost as soon as it started. The week after, I got stuck in Jersey because I missed my train. Trying to get back on Labor Day weekend. And last week, I don't really remember what happened, but I know I didn't do a show. So we are now here. Sean Garmer has taken over the producer role again for this show, as he did back in February when the show started. So we're glad to have him back. Thanks to him for producing this podcast, and let's get to it here. I want to start by talking about the Giants. The New York Giants, I picked them to win the NFC East. I picked them to finish 11-5. And here we are, going into week 3. They're 0-2. And I can't. First of all, I want to start with the first game. They played the Cowboys, and my takeaway from that game was the Cowboys played very well. Like, I was very impressed by the defense in that game, and against Manning, against Brandon Marshall, Sterling Shepard, very good game by the defense. Evan Ingram, I feel like he was the second best tight end in the draft behind O.J. Howard. Loved the way the defense played for Dallas. There's a little bit of fandom in there, but not too much. I really did like how Cowboys played their defense that game. Against Denver, well, the defense sort of deteriorated, but that's a different story for a different time. The main focus here is the Giants. And it starts with how they played against Dallas, how they were shut out the first half. They didn't get a first down until the second quarter. And fanboys just, but OBJ didn't play. Of course we're going to play it. Wait. Just because Odell Beckham Jr. didn't play, that means the Giants are going to do bad. That's why they did bad? That's a bad excuse, is what it is. That is a very bad excuse by Giants fans. Yeah, Odell Beckham Jr. is a big part of this team. But you realize you have Brandon Marshall. You have Evan Ingram. You have Paul Perkins, who I still believe can be talented. You can't put it all on Odell Beckham Jr. You cannot do that. Do you realize, and here's an interesting stat for people saying that OBJ and all this other stuff. OBJ was the reason the Cowboys beat the Giants 19-3 in week 1. You realize Brandon Marshall on a very bad Jets team in 2016 averaged 13.4 yards a catch. That was with a bad Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now he has Eli Manning, who's probably going to win for the Hall of Fame, even though he shouldn't. No excuse budget for the Giants. There was no excuse. And last night against Detroit, another bad performance. And Odell played. Beckham played in that game, if I remember correctly. My focus was on Monday Night Raw last night. So I wasn't really watching much of that game. I'm not a big fan of Monday Night Football because Sean McDonough's a good commentator, but I prefer Mike Tirico. But he's gone now, so I don't watch that much Monday Night Football as I should. So last night, the Giants got shut down by Detroit big time, losing 24-10. They're 0-2. And OBJ played that game. So can we stop blaming OBJ? You want to know what the real problem is in New York? And it has been since 2004. It's been Eli Manning. Eli Manning is the kryptonite. Giants people say, he was 2 Super Bowl rings. Yeah, that's all pure luck. You beat the Packers, who's after one game in the playoffs every year. You beat the Patriots. I can't even explain beating the Patriots. That's something different. But that's all malarkey. And the whole rings conversation is also malarkey. It's something else I wanted to bring up here. Now, fans will, but Eli Manning has 2 rings. This is a very good case where the rings do not matter. I mean, come on. Dan Marino has 0 rings. Even Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl ring. That tells you right there the rings don't matter. Especially when it comes to quarterbacks. Eli Manning may have 2 rings, but he's not that great of a quarterback just because of that. And I looked something up here right before the show that I want to bring up. Giants records since 2004, minus the Super Bowl seasons. 2004, 6-10. 2005, 11-5. That's pretty good. They went to the NFC East. That's only, by the way, that's only one time out of the 2 times that the Giants won the division with Eli Manning at quarterback. 2006, 8-8. 2008, 12-4, pretty good. The only, it was 3 times, my fault. But 3 times the Giants won the division on Eli Manning's been around 14 years. 2009, 8-8. 2010, 10-6, 9-7, 9-7, 7-9, 6-10, 6-10. In 13 years, Eli Manning's won the NFC East 3 times. And that's with Tony Romo, who everyone likes to bash for being bad. But he's beaten Eli Manning several times for the division title. I mean, so let's stop. So Eli Manning is the problem here. Let's stop blaming Odell Beckham Jr. for the Giants' struggles this year. It's not Odell Beckham Jr.'s problem. It's Eli Manning's. And soon the Giants have to realize his time is up. His time is coming up. They need to move on, and it's not Davis Webb. It's not going to be Davis Webb. He's not going to be the answer for them moving forward. But they do have to find somebody else now, because Eli Manning is obviously not working out. Guy has 2 lucky seasons, and that's it. A bunch of mediocrity after that. I believe it was. I was thinking about this on the way home from work today. I believe it was 2011 or it was 2012, the year after they won the Super Bowl. Everyone's expecting big things for Eli Manning. He's going to do wonderful again. Back to the playoffs for the Giants. Through 6 games that year, Eli Manning threw 15 interceptions. Ooh, that hurt. I bet Giants fans are listening to this right now, and that hurt them. I'm sure it did. They want to forget about that 15 picks, 6-game season Eli Manning had. You can't forget it. Especially when to bring up how great Manning is. Right there. That is a huge thing right there that proves how mediocre he actually is through his whole career. And he is the reason. He is the anchor holding the Giants down for being a good team. Not Odell Beckham Jr. Because OBJ played against Detroit. He didn't do anything. Against the Cowboys, we had Brandon Marshall, we had Evan Ingram. Eli Manning didn't throw to them. Brandon Marshall had 1 catch with 12 seconds left in the 4th quarter. At the end of the game. The time ran out after that catch. Because the Giants had given up down 19-3. So Giants fans, stop blaming OBJ, because without OBJ, you wouldn't be the same team. You wouldn't be as good as you are. Because Eli Manning is holding you guys down. So I want to switch over to this now. I found this a little more interesting. I just had to bring that up. No Cowboys fandom there. No Giants hate there. It's just the truth. And anybody listening to this also knows that it is also the truth. So college football has been very exciting this year. A lot of great games. A lot of great upsets. Even FCS teams beat FBS teams. Things that you don't normally see, but the things like these makes the sport more exciting, and that's why people watch more college football. And then you look at the NFL, and it's like besides the Chiefs beating the Patriots week 1, there's not much excitement. The Panthers beat the Bills this weekend 9-3. Woo, what a game! So exciting. No, college football has shown it is the true king of football. And there's 2 ways to look at this. There's the way the games that have played out this season for both leagues, and the way things are also run for both leagues. And also for college. In college, we've seen amazing upsets. We've seen successful Hail Mary, with Florida, Tennessee. We've seen so much excitement in college football. We've seen Baker Mayfield without Dede Westbrook, without Joe Mixon, with no big name receivers, go into the horseshoe and knock off Urban Meyer and the 2nd-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. In a game, nonetheless, that saved their season. Because if they didn't win that game, Oklahoma State was going to win the Big 12. They saved their season in week 2. That is excitement. That right there is excitement. Like if you win you save your season in week 2, that is exciting. If you lose week 2 in the NFL, oh, it's okay. Got 14 games left. Ain't nothing to worry about. Like, cool. We have to wait all this time in the NFL for something exciting to happen. Like, we have to wait till the last game of the season to choose an NFC champion or NFC South champion. The bad thing about that, and for those who don't know what I'm talking about the Falcons and Panthers back in, 2014? The Panthers coming to that game, where were they? 6-8-1? Yeah, they were 6-8-1 going to Atlanta. And they were looking to win the NFC South crown. Final game of the year. In college, Oklahoma won week 2 to save their season. That's exciting. We don't have to wait for excitement. We want excitement now. We want to keep it going. And in college, we get there. We got excitement. Keep going. This weekend, we have Iowa. I love Nathan Stanley. I love what he's done. I had him as a Heisman pick for week 2. Then he struggled against North Texas, and I took him off. But I love Nathan Stanley. I love what he does. Now he's going to face the biggest test of his young career against Penn State. Primetime football on ABC. Great game. It's going to be an awesome game. In the meantime, in the NFL, what do you got? Oh, look at that. Jared Goff against Brian Hoyer. Wow, I can't wait to not watch that. That's going to be – I mean, the Rams are good. I can't deny that the Rams are doing well. Cooper Kupp's been a great addition to the Rams offense. But other than that, the Rams are still the Rams. They had a good win against Scott Tolzien. Let's calm down there. That's another thing. So you get crap games like that. The Rams against Scott Tolzien. Like, who wants to watch that? Boy. Of course, seeing 70-point blowouts in college is not something we want to see. But you'll never see a team at least in college, you see a team score 70 points. That's exciting. You see that every week, all 12 weeks throughout the season. FBS, FCS, Division 1, 2, 1 AA, whatever. You get the point. You see in all types of college football, no matter Division 1, SEC, Big Ten, Sky, Big Sky, whatever the conference is called. In NFL, if the team scores 40 points, it's like, whoa! They put up 40 points. Very exciting. It's just we want excitement in our lives. College brings more excitement than the NFL, and to me, that is why college football is better than the NFL. Of course, with the title games last year, both were pretty good. Most would say the Super Bowl 51 is more exciting than a college football national championship game. That's a once in a blue moon type of thing. College football national championship games are usually always exciting. Super Bowls, not too much. When you look back at the former Super Bowls, 50, boring. Denver's defense dominated Cam Newton. 48, the Broncos didn't even show up to Jersey. They didn't show up to MetLife. The Seahawks just won because they showed up. In the college football national title game, you got a freshman winning the title against Marcus Mariota. You got James Winston overcoming a 21-3 deficit over Auburn. Eventually, a lot of excitement in the college football. And then you go to the end of the year, go to December. That's definitely when college gets real exciting. In college during the month of December, there are 5 conference title games that everyone wants to watch. Big Ten. Now there's Big 12, which that's going to be amazing with Oklahoma State expected to play each other for the second time this year in the Big 12 title game. SEC is always exciting. It'll be LSU, Florida, most likely. Unless Kentucky. I can't even say that because I don't know anything about all college conferences. But anyway. Pac-12, always exciting. Big Ten, definitely exciting. So even the first weekend of December, there's much excitement in college football. And that continues on through the rest of the month because you have about 39 bowl games that could all end on the final play of the game. How awesome is that? In the NFL, In December, Tom Brady's playing 3 quarters because he clinched the AFC East by Thanksgiving. Not exciting. Pretty much, not only that, all but one AFC playoff spot has been clinched by the time Thanksgiving goes around. So it's like, what's the point of watching these games? We already know what's happening. And the last AFC spot is, this team wins and that's it. AFC is clinched by December 1st. Not exciting. College, you have 39 bowl games that run Monday through Friday nonetheless for about 4 weeks. Amazing, incredible, awesome stuff. All right, so here's something else I want to talk about. Sam Darnold. A lot of people bought Sam Darnold last season. And I was the person that said, don't overhype him. I think he's overrated. He's not going to do well. Well, what do you know? Look at me being right now. So far this season, let's look at the 3 games Sam Darnold has played. Against Western Michigan, a MAC team, non-Power 5 conference. Threw 2 picks, had a 71 QBR. Against Stanford, 2 more interceptions. Against a rookie quarterback in Texas. Well, what do you know? 2 more picks. 1 return for a touchdown. For 3 games this year, Sam Darnold has 6 picks. I'll go along with his 6 touchdown passes. Rutgers quarterback Kyle Boland has 4 picks through 3 games. Sam Darnold has 6. That right there takes him out of the Heisman talk, if you ask me. Again, I don't know if this will continue. Maybe he'll have a breakout season come October, November, into December. But right now, Sam Darnold's overrated. He's proving to be right, as I said all summer long, coming into the season, and I could continue to say until he shows something else. Sam Darnold's overrated. He's not. He should not be. I don't know. Some people still have him at the number 1 overall pick going to the Jets because the Jets are probably pretty much finishing 0-16 this year. Crazy. I find that insane. Just absolutely insane that people have Sam Darnold still number 1 overall pick to the Jets in 2018. They're a much better quarterback. I put Josh Rosen at number 1 overall. He had a crappy game against Texas A&M, but other than that, he did pretty well for himself. I like what Josh Rosen has done this year. Even at the loss against Memphis, he threw 5 touchdowns. Impressive stuff from Josh Rosen. So I want to thank everybody for listening. This is the SCU Show. I'm your host, SCU. Whether you're listening on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, Google Play, or wherever WTMNet podcasts are recorded. Again, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode as I go on here. And I hope you hit that subscribe button. Oh, by the way, I had to give a shout out. Sean Garmer, Eric Watkins, and Rachel McCracker. Congratulations, you 3. Soccer to the Max is now on iHeartRadio, and I hope this show can get to iHeartRadio someday. But we'll see what happens there. Obviously we have to keep doing shows, first of all. That's a big thing, doing shows. If I continue to do shows, and they keep getting better, we'll eventually hit iHeartRadio just like Sean has and Eric has on their podcast. Soccer to the Max, Football to the Max, wherever else is on iTunes. iHeartRadio. But I have a lot of work to do. I could tell you that now. But we'll get there. There is a lot of time left. We will get there. So Paul Jackiewicz is going to join the show. Him and I will be talking about the Giants because there are a lot of questions about the Giants right now. I picked them to win the NFC East at 11-5. Did not expect Dallas to do what they did the first week. And then in the second week, Colin Cowherd talked about on his show, radio show, The Herd. Dak Prescott did not get exposed. The defense just deteriorated. It was a very bad defense. You don't give up 4 touchdowns to Trevor Siemian and expect to win a game. That is just not – you don't do that. Then again, I was the one that said that this defense would not do well this season, and game 2, they've shown that already. Of course, we're going to Arizona Monday night. But the Cowboys going to Arizona. The Cowboys going to Arizona Monday night. Play the Cardinals, who have not done well on offense with Carson Palmer as their quarterback. So I'm hoping maybe that'll change for the Cowboys. We can get 2-1 on the season. But coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Jackiewicz, owner of bloggingBigBlue.com and editor of the Toro Times, will join us. This is the SCU Show.
Hello to all you Arena League football fans out there. I want to personally welcome you to join us, AFL Fan Zone, every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for a weekly recap of all things AFL. You got stuff to do on the weekends, which means you probably don't have time to sit down and watch every single game every week. That's where AFL Fan Zone comes in. Not only do we break down the week, but we provide you with everything you need to stay up to date with the AFL, including Players of the Week, Power Rankings, and the weekly standings. Best part is, the recap is fully interactive between the viewers and the host. Just search AFL Fan Zone on YouTube and you can find all of our archived videos, including game previews, recaps, and weekly updates. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and at our website at www.aflfanzone.com. AFL Fan Zone, your internet home for the best AFL fans.
Hi, I'm Donovan James, and welcome to the Don James High School Football Report, everybody, where we discuss and debate the hottest prep and college football recruiting topics in the country every week. Only here on NGSC Sports, 9:30 Eastern. For more, follow me on Twitter at Don James Sports.
It's game time, boys, and we know football. Football the Max is the podcast for you if you want in-depth analysis over the NFL and college football. We preview all the action coming your way over the weekend. And we break down all the big action after it's happened. Plus, we tackle all the big news topics and discuss everything when it comes to the gridiron. So come check out Football to the Max every Tuesday morning and Friday morning on the W2M network.
Are you an arena football fan looking for the latest news involving your team? Inside the Arena has you covered. Check us out for the latest news around both the Arena Football League and the Chinese Arena Football League. Read all of our stellar articles at InsideTheArena.org. Also, follow us on Twitter at Inside_Arena and like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/InsideTheArena.
Welcome back, everybody, to the SCU Show. I'm your host, SCU. Now joining us is owner of bloggingBigBlue.com and editor of the Toro Times, the Houston Texans fan-sided blog, Mr. Paul Jackiewicz makes his return to the show. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me. I'm sorry about the mix-up. I never used Skype, and I thought I was signed in. I thought maybe I had more than one account, but appreciate you bearing with me and finally figured it out. So
yeah, we are glad to have Paul on tonight. Last time he came on, he just absolutely killed it, and I'm looking forward to him killing it again. So, Paul, let's start with the Giants here. I picked them as my NFC East winner at 11-5. I did not expect Dallas defense to do what they did when the Cowboys beat the Giants 19-3 on Sunday Night Football. And then fanboys were like, oh, OBJ didn't play, though. Oh, that's why we lost. Okay, well, first of all, Brandon Marshall averaged 13.4 yards a catch last year with Ryan Fitzpatrick as his quarterback. What do you feel, besides OBJ, because that's not true, what do you feel was the main cause for the Giants' struggles both last Sunday night, and then this past game on Monday?
Well, first of all, Odell Beckham Jr. doesn't really make much. He helps, but he doesn't make that big of a difference. And I really think last year's 11-5 was a fluke. I just don't think they're just not that good. But I think there's many issues. And last year, I think I was just like, man, if they had an offensive line, they'd be really good. But I just think it's a ton of issues that they have. And I'm not surprised at all. Actually, I was surprised that people were picking them to win the NFC East and were picking them to be Super Bowl contenders. I'm thinking, have you seen the Giants? I mean, they didn't do anything all offseason to address any of their real needs. Brandon Marshall, that's nice. They needed a number 2 receiver. They didn't need Rhett Ellison. I don't know why they signed him. He's a solid player, but they didn't need him. Again, like I said last time, Jason Pierre-Paul, he looks good so far, which is fine, but I would have rather have traded him by letting him go and then signing an all left tackle, because clearly that is still their biggest issue. I think the offensive line, to me, the offensive line is average, aside from Flowers. They're pretty good. You could win with them, except for Flowers again. They're pretty solid. Bobby Hart didn't look too bad in week 1. They look pretty good. They looked okay. They're serviceable. But then you got a guy like Flowers who just keeps getting beat by everybody who lines up over him. And even it was just laughable last night, just how 2 straight plays Eli Manning got sacked. And if people kind of saw on ESPN today, they was making fun of Eli just diving down. I think Eli, and this is one of the problems, is that he used to be a guy that would stand in the pocket and not be afraid to take a hit. I'll never forget, I think it was the NFC title game against the 49ers. I can't remember if it was 2011 or 2007. When
2011, yes.
Okay, 11. Because of Harbaugh, right, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anyway, so that game, he took a lot of hits, but he stood in the pocket, made the throws he had to make, grinded it out, helped him get a win or whatever. Now you don't see that from him. He's scared, and he doesn't trust his offensive line at all. He definitely knows he can't trust his left tackle, which is the guy protecting his blind side. So he's scared. Yeah, he's missing. I don't think physically he's washed up. I think physically he is more than capable of being an NFL starter for the next 3 years. It's mentally. Mentally, he has psyched himself out because he's so scared about getting hit. He's missing wide open receivers. Except last night, they had a great pass to Marshall, a perfect pass on the sideline. Of course, he drops it. It's like the one perfect pass Eli Manning throws, Marshall's going to drop. And I also saw somebody talking about it, just how they're playing like a losing team even. It's not even just the offense, but you give up the special teams touchdown. The defense is not even playing great. The defense is playing good enough. They're all right. They could easily win. They could have won these last 2 games with the defense playing the way it's been playing. They just haven't been as dominant as they were last year, which is not a surprise because teams are going to game plan. They're going to say, "Oh, this is why the Giants were good. We know how to counteract that," and that's probably what's happened. Now the Giants need to adjust to that. But last year they were lucky because I think they took people by surprise with their defense. They made just enough plays to get it done on offense. But they just seemed like a complete mess. Again, Eli Manning's one of the problems, and then left tackle. And then, of course, not being able to get a running game. I was surprised that the Lions were fooled by Evan Ingram lining up pretty much behind their right guard. And then, he went right through the middle and got a touchdown. They were fooled by that. They were thinking the Giants were going to run. I'm thinking, why are you worried about the Giants running the football? They can't run the football. And it's not the running back. It's not Perkins. It's not Darkwa. It wasn't Rashad Jennings last year. Jennings is getting older. But you look at they have all these running guys running the ball. Clearly, nobody can get more than maybe 3 yards at a time. It's not the running back himself. It's the line. They can't open up holes. They can't run block, and they can't pass block. And when you can't run the football, teams aren't worried about it, and they're going to stack the block, or they're going to sit back and defend the pass, and of course get after the quarterback. They don't even need the blitz because you have Flowers, who's a revolving door, and you just go right through him, and it's a mess between the offensive line and Eli Manning. Those are the 2 biggest issues that I see right now. Yeah.
It's funny that you bring up that Eli Manning's his big problem. I said the same thing before you came on. I said Eli Manning has been the problem since 2004. In 13 years, they have won 3 different titles. So I don't know. Well, how long do you feel it may be? Because last night, even head coach Ben McAdoo ripped into Eli Manning how he played. How long do you think until the Giants decide, okay, it's time for us to move on from Eli Manning? It might not be Davis Webb, might be somebody in 2 years from now. How long do you think it'll be before they move on from Eli Manning?
Well, first, I don't think McAdoo wants Manning anymore. I think he wants to get rid of him. Not now. He's not going to get rid of him right now, but I think by next year he would love to. I just don't. I saw some people commenting on Twitter, and I was like, somebody said something about he's not McAdoo's guy, and I'm like, what? That kind of makes sense. but it's kind of stupid of McAdoo, and I'm actually going to write an article about this, but it's stupid of McAdoo to not want Eli. Like, not because Eli is so great and he's in his prime, but who else are you going to start? Davis Webb? Geno Smith? I mean, you don't have any other options. Even if you want to go draft a quarterback in the first round next year, there's no guarantee he's going to be the guy. So you better try to win with a guy who's won 2 Super Bowls right now to help your job, because even if he wishes Manning would bomb and be out by next year, why wouldn't the Giants blame him for not getting this offense right? Because he's this offensive guru, and it's just troubling that since 2015, the offense was ridiculous. They were putting up 40 points like it was nothing. Defense was horrible, putting up 40 points like it's nothing. And then last year, it's like he takes over as a head coach, and all of a sudden the offense can't do anything. Why is that? My only thing I can think of is because he's the head coach. He probably needs to give up play calling duties. But I do believe, I was actually talking to my dad, and I said, I could see if Eli, if this continues, he continues to play bad. He actually played pretty well, I thought, last night. I'm not a huge fan of Pro Football Focus, but I do look at their grades and stuff. And I don't think they're always accurate, but he had a 74 grade of 74 or something. And I thought, that's a pretty good grade. That was about average, when you think about it. And he was a little, maybe above average he was in that game. But, it was one of his better games in the last year, that's for sure. But I think if he continues to play, though, inconsistently like this, and if Davis Webb develops, because I don't think Geno Smith's going to be the answer. I wouldn't mind him being the answer. I think he's a solid player, but I just don't know how well I'm not going to count on that. But say Davis Webb by next summer, the Giants are like, wow, this guy might be ready, or say McAdoo's thinking, this guy might be ready to start soon. If Eli struggles early next season, 2018, I wouldn't be surprised. Eli struggles, if they say, Eli, take a break. Let's see what Davis Webb can do. I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that. It's not going to happen this year, but maybe next year they would do that.
Wow, that's pretty bold there. Paul Jackiewicz, the big blog owner of Big Blog, coming on here in the SCU show and saying he wouldn't be surprised that Eli Manning is benched by 2018 he would be second-year player Davis Webb out of Cal. You heard it here first. So let's stick with the NFC East here. The Cowboys, obviously, they're playing well on offense. They're playing well, except against Denver, where their defense just got deteriorated. And a lot of people say Dak Prescott got exposed, even though he did pretty well. How do you feel? And I was first to say it. I said the Cowboys are going to finish 6-10 this year. How do you feel the Dak and Zeke, especially Zeke with being the 6-game suspension thing? How do you think they will do the rest of the way?
I wasn't surprised by them losing in Denver. I thought it was funny watching them beat the Giants, and how I think it was Chris Collins was like, "Oh my gosh, this defense! Nobody thought they'd be good." Thinking they're playing the Giants' offense. What? They're not. The Giants' offense hasn't been good in over a year. So what makes you think Cowboys are all of a sudden good? And we saw it. They got a little bit exposed. But then again, the NFL is a week-to-week league. The Cowboys looked pretty good the first week. Obviously, didn't look good this past week. Maybe they'll be great the next week. But they do. Their defense, though, is very it's still, I think, the jury's out on whether or not they're better. Again, you beat the Giants. Right now, I think almost anybody could beat the Giants. The Browns and the Jets are scoring more points than the Giants. That's the problem. So, the NFC East, to me, I feel like anybody but the Giants can win it right now. I think the Eagles are probably the scariest team. I think they are. Their defense looks very good. Their blitz. The Giants playing them this week, and it's in Philly. Oh my gosh, they're staring at 0-3 right now. And even to think that the Giants, of course, the rest of the NFC East has to play the AFC West is also very, very scary. Like Von Miller against the Giants. I mean, I think Von Miller plays on the opposite side. I might be wrong, of Flowers. But they'd be smart to line him up over Flowers, and he'll have a field day. So right now, I think the NFC East is the Eagles' probably to win. I wouldn't be surprised if the Redskins sneak up there and contend. I know they haven't looked great, but Kirk Cousins hasn't been the fastest starter, each season. So they got some weapons. We'll see how they do. But right now, I know it's only 2 games, but the Giants just look like a mess.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Kirk Cousins, actually, because on my next point, I just want to bring up I brought this point up a couple of weeks ago when I actually did a show. It's been a while. Kirk Cousins isn't going to do well in 2017 because of two things. Deshaun Jackson's gone, and Pierre Garçon are both gone.
Yeah.
And I feel like their top target now is a tight end. And this is Kirk Cousins' year. Like, he wants a mega deal next year. This is his second consecutive season playing on the franchise tag. So if he wants a big mega deal next year, he has to play well this year. And that just makes it tougher having no Deshaun Jackson, no Pierre Garçon, and his top target is Jordan Reed, a tight end.
Yeah, who can't stay healthy.
Right, exactly. So Paul Jackiewicz, owner of Blogging Big Blue. Did I say it right? BloggingBigBlue.com?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And editor of the Toro Times joining us. So when we last talked, you were telling me that you believe Tom Savage should start for Houston. I thought you were nuts. I still think you were nuts, especially after how he played the first half against Jacksonville. Do you still feel that he should have stayed in that game?
No, I don't. I told you that Savage was going to start the season. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I was right, though. He started the season.
I mean,
but
you were right.
I was right, but he didn't last very long, and I'm not surprised by that either. The feeling I get, I'm not surprised he didn't last, not because he's a bad quarterback. I think Savage could actually be a serviceable starter with a good offensive line. The problem is he can't get out the way of the rush, and he's going to get killed. It's actually probably better for him not to play right now. He looked pretty good in the preseason. His numbers weren't bad. He's a solid player. He won't be with the Texans next year, but he will be somewhere, and I think he'll compete for a starting job somewhere, hopefully with a team with a good offensive line. But, Deshaun Watson, the feeling I get is that he is ready to start. Bill O'Brien said, hey, we're not holding anything back. Typically teams will sometimes limit, of course, how much they use the playbook or limit the offense in certain ways when they have a rookie quarterback. Supposedly he's not limiting anything. So that tells me that, they didn't, while he wasn't their immediate starter week one, came in the second half, but wasn't a starter to start the game. They were thinking, let's see what Savage does. Of course, if things don't look good, we feel like Watson is ready, and I think that's obviously what happened. Because it doesn't hurt to not start him for that first game. But now I think they realize, our line is so bad, we need to have somebody that can move around, make plays, and clearly get out of the way of the pass rush.
It's funny that you mentioned that Deshaun Watson. The way I look at it, I loved him at Clemson. I like that he went 12th overall to a team like Houston that has DeAndre Hopkins, his name. Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins. They have J.J. Watt. They have Jadeveon Clowney. But he played against a Jacksonville defense that had the best game in their franchise history with 10 sacks, and Cincinnati. So, is it too? Do you feel like it might be too early to say, Deshaun Watson's going to do good things, because he didn't play against the best defenses yet?
Well, Jacksonville, I do think Jacksonville is a good defense. They got a very good set of defensive backs. They got Calais Campbell. They got some talent on there. I'm not really surprised by the way they played. And again, that offensive line, it's all about the offensive line. It's just funny to me that a team like, again, going back to the Giants, would think, oh yeah, let's get all these weapons and then we're going to be okay. Like, are you delusional? Your line is horrible. And it's kind of the same thing with the Texans. I mean, they didn't do anything in free agency. They weren't able to get an offensive tackle in the draft or any. They got some two linemen late in the draft, but still, there's a lot of teams you see it over the years. They don't address their line like they need to, and they think they can win anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I think, I think I can't. I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. Wow.
Oh, you're fine. I do have one more question about Houston. Yeah. They got rid of wide receiver Jalen Strong. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I just think he hasn't been performing since they got him, and he just, I think they wanted to get rid of him. Supposedly they were going to get rid of him early in the summer, ended up deciding not to. They kept him, of course, with Will Fuller being injured, and I think they just realized, this guy's not going to work out, and then the Jaguars just picked him up today.
Yeah, that Will Fuller thing, that is such a shame. That's like, he's been injured every season he's played. Now he has a broken collarbone. This guy has talent. He just hasn't been able to show it yet. And it's a shame that he's out another 5 to 7 weeks.
Well, Fuller, he's practicing now, and they said there seemed like there was an outside chance he might be able to play this week. But he could be back by week 4 or 5. Yeah, because he got injured in early August. A collarbone's typically like an 8-week time frame.
Yeah.
So he could be back within the next few weeks. I'd be surprised if he plays this week.
I would too. Broken collarbone. I mean, Tony Romo did that. He missed half the season in 2010, I believe. And of course, we have the Giants to thank for that one.
a lot of teams broke Tony Romo. Poor guy.
Paul Jackiewicz, owner of BloggingGoogle.com and editor of the Toro Times. Well, I do hope that the Giants do better going into Philadelphia and beyond. I want to thank you again for coming on to SCU Show, and we'll have to talk again real soon, man. Thanks much.
All right. Thank you.
Good stuff, Paul Jackiewicz. All right, so we're not going to go commercial because Sean and I have an agreement that I will have one commercial for every show from now on. That's before my guest comes on. So let's go right into our next subject here. I want to stick to what Paul was saying. Yeah, OBJ, obviously, I said this before he came on. OBJ is not. I mean, he's a big factor, but he can't be the reason your team wins and loses. It cannot be the reason. That is absolutely ridiculous. That the Giants fans think that OBJ not playing is the reason they lose games. No, that can't be it. They cannot. Like I said, they have Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall is one of the best receivers in the league. I'm going to believe it. The problem is that Eli Manning doesn't throw him the ball as much as he should. That is the problem. If Eli Manning can get the ball to him more, to Brandon Marshall, and OBJ has to get back in his thing because he has not done anything the first 2 weeks. Of course, granted, week 1 he was out. Yesterday he did nothing. That's the Giants need to really put a fire under Eli Manning's butt. And they need to get it going because they have a big test. Like Paul said, they're going to Philadelphia next week. The Eagles are 1-1. They just overcame a 10-point fourth quarter deficit, a 14-point fourth quarter deficit. Almost did against Kansas City, the best defense in the league by far. So Giants, get ready because here come the Eagles. I don't want my Cowboys to play the Eagles either. I can't wait for that. It's not gonna be pretty. I'll just leave it at that. I don't even know when we play the Eagles, but it's not going to be pretty. My next thing I want to get to here is New England Patriots. So the Patriots lost week 1 against Kansas City, and everyone loses their freaking minds. Oh my God, the Patriots are never going to go to the playoffs playing like this. Oh, Brady's old, it's over. Calm down. It was 1 week. Now, there is a point where I do agree that might not be the same Patriots team, but it's only been a couple weeks. They have no Amendola. They don't have no Edelman. They got rid of a couple players on defense. A couple players retired on defense. This is a new Patriots team. Same old Brady, same old Belichick, fine. But there are new guys. They had to get used to how the team plays. They have to build the chemistry. They have to get things together. But I do agree that there might be some trouble with the Patriots, though. Because, yes, they lost to the Chiefs, who, by the way, have the best defense in the league. Like I just said, they have the best defense. The defense is awesome in Kansas City. They showed that against the Patriots. And that offense is pretty explosive, too. Kareem Hunt, I remember Sean said in our group chat that I should not sleep on. Pretty much, I'm paraphrasing. He said I shouldn't sleep on Kareem Hunt. And I was like, who? Guy out of Toledo? Who? And I was like, that's speculation. I'm not going to speculate on a guy I don't even know about. Then he goes ahead and scores 2 touchdowns against the Patriots, upsetting him in Foxborough. And then he does it again against the Eagles, scores 2 touchdowns against the Eagles, and another win. So maybe Kareem Hunt's definitely better than I expected, because I didn't know who he was until the Patriots game. Just about like half of America didn't know who Kareem Hunt was, unless you live in Toledo, Ohio. You didn't know who Kareem Hunt was until he played against the Patriots. But then there's the second game for New England. They went and played the Saints, and Brady throws 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. The Patriots are back. Yeah, Super Bowl champions. No. First of all, the Saints have the worst defense in the NFL. By far. Like the Chiefs are the best. The Saints are the worst. They let Sam Bradford beat them. Come on now. And that's where I question New England still. They beat the Saints. Is it really that big of an accomplishment? I mean, come on. I would put money on it that the Browns could beat the Saints at this point with that defense since Deshaun Kaiser's rocket arm. Yeah, the Browns. I wouldn't put it. I'm gonna go as far as the Jets. I think the Saints would beat the Jets because the Jets are a much worse team than New Orleans. But let's say that the Patriots beat the Saints so bad. Brady's back. It was the Saints. Let's calm down. Let's wait this weekend. They're playing Houston. That is the game that'll tell me: are these the same Patriots, or are we looking at something different here? Is there a problem brewing in New England? Because if they struggle against J.J. Watt and that defense, there's a problem. Because Brady's been able to contain that defense in the last couple of meetings against the Houston Texans. So if he doesn't do well in this game, there's going to be problems. I'm going to see a lot of trouble brewing in New England at 1-2 if they do lose to Houston. I don't think they will because the game's at Foxborough. But I also didn't think the Chiefs would beat them. So we're just going to have to wait and see how that game plays out. Final topic of the night, Kyrie Irving. We're going to switch to the NBA to close out the show here. Kyrie Irving went on First Take and said, oh, absolutely, in response to, could he win a championship without LeBron? Really? You can win a championship without LeBron. Do you realize you're going to have, first of all, you're going to have to go through LeBron because he's going to Los Angeles 2018. That's already booked, settled. LeBron's bought the house in Orange County. That's already happening. You have to go to the Warriors, still the best team in the NBA. It probably will be in 2018 because LeBron, Paul George, and Lonzo Ball build their chemistry and figure things out with each other. You have to go to the Houston Rockets, James Harden, Chris Paul. A two-man super team right there. You even have to go to the Oklahoma City Thunder. With Russell Westbrook, MVP, he's going to average triple. He could average triple-double again this year. And Paul George. And granted, I do believe this is Paul George's one and only season in Oklahoma City. I do believe he will go to Los Angeles with LeBron and play with him and Lonzo Ball come 2018. And that's just the Western Conference. Just imagine the Eastern Conference. Miami on the rise for sure. They went from 11-30 to half a game out of the 8th seed in the NBA playoffs. The Heat are going places. And they just signed Kelly Olynyk and a couple other guys. Joshua Roberts just signed a multi-year deal. It's going to be very exciting times for the people in South Beach, Florida. And people go think I'm crazy here in the end of the show. The Philadelphia 76ers have something going. It's going to be 2-3 years until the Sixers are ready to contend. But when they are ready to contend, you best watch out, Boston. You better watch out Kyrie Irving because the Heat, the Sixers, the Warriors, the Lakers, the Rockets, and the Thunder are coming for you. So it takes for Kyrie to say that he's going to win a title without LeBron. Well, let's just face it. He has to beat LeBron first. And it's not going to happen. So Kyrie, I believe this is it for him. He's going to play the rest of his career in Boston, and I win a title. Done deal. That's it. He's going to have fun. He's going to enjoy Boston's a beautiful city, by the way. I've been to Boston. Beautiful city. One of the most beautiful cities I've ever been to in my life. And I haven't been to many cities, so that says something. But that is, if you ever visit a city in your life, you have to go to Boston. That is a must. So Kyrie's going to run the East. I do believe he will run the East, him and the Celtics, when LeBron leaves the East. But he's not winning a title. And with that, we are going to end the SCU show. I'm your host, SCU. I want to thank Paul Jackiewicz for coming on, make this show 100% better. I know I had a very rocky start. I felt it. I know it. Going to come back next week, I hope, and do 100 times better. We're going to do much better. Remember, check out my new podcast, The Kickoff, with Harry Broadhurst and Patrick. I don't even know how to say his last name. Where you can check us out every week on WTMNet.com, iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, Google Play, and wherever WTM podcasts are available. And once again, congratulations to Sean Garmer, Eric Watkins, Rich McGregor, Soccer to the Max, Football to the Max, to getting on iHeartRadio. Good stuff. So until next week, this is the SCU Show.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.